What is the Young Professional Bundle? Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin Rossier, a licensed architect, owner of mentorDINO, and creator of the courses within the Young Professional Bundle. But I want to step back and talk about why I created these courses to begin with. Why did I decide to create mentorDINO? There are so many gaps in the profession that I've seen over the years. We need to do something about the gaps in the profession to be able to grow the next generation of architects, engineers, designers, and contractors. And so that's why I took the time to create this company to be able to help the industry as a whole. mentorDINO is here to empower the architect, engineering, and construction industries through innovative solutions, addressing multifaceted gaps in knowledge, and our commitment is to elevate the entire profession by fostering a holistic and collaborative environment. The Young Professional Bundle is all about building hard skills and human skills. Oftentimes, we spend so much time building up the hard skills that we forget to focus on the human skills. Just like having a dominant and non-dominant hand, your dominant hand can do amazing things and has the strength. You are using it every day. You are writing, typing, mouse work, anything. You are using your dominant hand. And then when you go to use a mouse or write with your non-dominant hand, it is messy. You can't get it as neat. It's not as refined. It is the same thing in the human and hard skills, or you can think of it as technical skills and professional development skills. You can be very technically inclined, but the gap is the professional development or human skills side. And if we don't equalize our strength, we're going to end up being lopsided. So how do I do this? It is about giving you the tools to move forward. And the Young Professional Bundle is about building both of these skills. So 2 of the courses are meant to build up your technical skills or hard skill side, and one of them, which is a little bit larger, focuses in on the human skills. They both give you the tools to move forward, but equal strength and opportunity. What I did was I started recording. I created these courses, their presentations, live demos, everything and anything I could throw into these courses. There are also challenges for you to go through, but giving them in bite-sized chunks that you can learn ahead of time and go back and check out these resources later. What is the Young Professional Bundle? It is actually a bundle of 3 of my courses: the Revit Crash Course, BimWELL, and Build Your Foundation. The Revit Crash Course is about teaching you the program Revit. So if your office uses Revit, oftentimes universities don't use this program. They're using other programs like Rhino because they feel there are more design opportunities and less restrictions with it. So when a student comes out, they are just thrown into an office environment in hopes that they can figure out where to go. The more seasoned professionals just assume the young professional will learn the technical skills on the spot because they're a younger professional and they've grown up with technology. But there's still a learning curve. If you throw somebody in and they don't know where to go, they're going to get lost, they're going to struggle, and it's going to take them more time. So instead of throwing them in head first, the crash course is meant to get them up and running within 2 to 3 days. You could dive in and do the course all in one day, but it would be a lot. I do give a schedule on 2 and 3 day options, depending on how you want to incorporate that into your workday or ahead of time. But again, in small chunks that if you do need to stop for a meeting, you can do so. The BimWELL course focuses on the gap between academia and practice. In academia, we come up with these fabulous designs, beautiful diagrams, but then you come into the industry and you have no clue how those designs can actually physically be built. They don't take the time in academia to take a project, make them go through the analysis of the different materials, how something is constructed, worried about owner constraints, budget, and actual detailing of products. How many times do you ask somebody, hey, what metal panel system are we putting on this building? And a young professional says silver. Silver is not an actual material or product. There's so many different products that can go on a building, and they don't learn this knowledge ahead of time. They also can do anything. They have programs in universities that you can really do whatever you want. Doors can go wherever they want. They don't have to put dimensions on. They're not learning the drafting techniques and the code implications. So the BimWELL course focuses on this specific gap. I not only dive more into Revit and how to model and draft things beyond the Revit Crash Course, but I explain how to put in a door, what you need in terms of spacing for framing for how the door is going to get built, and talking about door swings, where there's different occupancy levels and where a door swing needs to go and if you're swinging into a corridor in those dimensions. How often are you constantly telling young professionals how to dimension a floor plan? How often do you see weird dimensions on a floor plan that a builder will never build to? We are not building a Swiss watch, we are building a building. The difference in scale is important. And understanding when you are detailing casework versus walls, those dimensions and the refinement changes as well. So I go through how to dimension, how to create a string of dimensions, how to make sure that they are readable and legible, and at dimensions that make sense. So those are just a couple examples, but the BimWELL course is really there to take the professional not only learning the drafting software itself, but starting to give them the tools to learn what needs to go in a building so they can ask better questions to their project architects and project managers to learn faster and catch errors early. In the Build Your Foundation course, the third course of the trio is building up that other arm, the teamwork and human skill side. It takes a team to come together to build a building. You need to learn how to communicate, how to receive delegated work, how to work together as a team, and how to build yourself along the way. Just like a sport, you need to know what's coming. If you played soccer, for instance, or football for anybody else outside the United States, if you are receiving a pass, you have to be able to handle that pass. If you're coming at the ball with equal force, it will just bounce right off of you. And so this course is really meant to teach you those skills to be able to handle the ball and control it and move forward and succeed. So let's dive into a little bit more of the particulars and behind the scenes. So each course, this will be the main opening software portion, and you go through each segment. Each of the circles lets you know how far you've gone. A full circle with a checkbox says you've already gotten through that section, you can move on to the next one. A half circle means you're partway through and you can always go back and it saves how far you've gone. And then an open circle means you haven't gotten there yet. Again, each of these sections are broken up into smaller chunks. The Revit Crash Course, there are some ones that are a little bit closer to the 45-minute hour mark, but these ones are broken up by the tabs at the top of the screen, so then I can go through each tab. The example photo I have up is actually talking about drafting views and how a drafting view is created, the importance of it, when to use it versus a live view, and they can get the understanding. Oftentimes, young professionals have never understood a drafting view and standard details ahead of joining their firm. So the Revit Crash Course, there'll be an introduction. I go through the model, I break it up so you don't see the full window at all times to explain to you the different sections, how to open a blank model, and how to go and talk to your firm about firm standards when opening a model, because each firm is different. And then I go through each of the tabs at the top that are most reliable to a young professional, starting to get them rolling. I also give them times to practice and rewatch any sections as well. That is the breakout of the Revit Crash Course. You can also use this if you're a more seasoned professional and have been wanting to learn Revit but haven't had a ton of time. If you want to be able to go in and be able to move stuff around, just see what's going on, understand the views, this course can also be used for you as well. Again, you can plow through it in one day, but I recommend typically a 2 or 3 day, so this is great to do in somebody's first week. The BimWELL section, I'm not going to go through the circles again, but same concept, and you can go through these items line by line. The view I pulled out is in the floor plan section where I talk about exterior dimensioning and having whole dimensions, or if you have brickwork and what a brick dimension is, and so on. The course itself is broken up into an overall section where I talk about anything from a sheet list, placing views on a sheet, organizing a sheet, and then breaking it up into the different types of sheets. So if you gave a task to have somebody work on the floor plan, I go through wall types, doors and clearances, rooms, dimensioning, and tags, so they can understand all the different types of tasks that they may be tasked with when looking at floor plans. The details section, I talk about interior elevations, plan details, wall details, sections, stairs, elevators, signage. There's so many things in here. But we again go through and check off all the different things that could go on. The interior elevation section, for instance, I actually elevate the same elevation in 3 different ways. Understanding that firms have different standards and letting them know they have to go look at your firm's standards to figure out which one they need to do. And there may be even slight tweaks on that as well, where somebody has mixed them together. But going through, there's different ways how to tag casework or dimension casework or put sections and what that means, and I at least give them the different options so they can see how things can change from firm to firm, as an example. The third section is actually about construction. It's less on the Revit training side and more about construction administration. Oftentimes I hear that young professionals have no idea what RFI stands for, or what a submittal is, or how to look at specifications. What are they looking for? So in this, I go through specification basics on just what is a spec, how to read a spec, and how to look for things during CA. I talk about submittals, the different types of submittals they need to receive, what we're looking for, and how to ask questions. I tell them what an RFI stands for and what you need to do and how the different responses are. The last part of the section that is a little bit more Revit based is addendums, bulletins, write-ups, clouding, and creating revisions. It is so important to teach young professionals that you need to cloud and identify the changes and how changes are identified in drawings versus the specifications. And so it is really the holistic approach from starting a project, putting it together, the detail work, and then what happens once you move on to construction. The final section of the bundle is the Build Your Foundation section, which is really one of my favorites. It is all about the human skills and the teamwork skills and organization skills that somebody needs along the way. In this section, it is broken out. In this course, it is broken out into 3 sections, and this one does take a lot more time to get through. I typically recommend over somebody's first 90 days or a 3-month time period, so they can work through some sections but be able to practice it along the way and not get burned out. There are challenges in this one as well, so little homework assignments to be able to practice what you're doing and to grow as a professional. There are 3 sections: the personal, team, and organizational section. You can always check out my Build Your Foundation course video where I go through each line item of these, but the overarching concept, the personal section, is building yourself up as a professional in itself. There are different things between discipline, listening, goal setting, understanding, responsibilities, and learning about stress and burnout along the way. The teamwork section is all about learning how to communicate more effectively, understanding, adjusting from being in academia to practice, being able to learn collaboration skills ahead of time to be able to practice those while on a team or multiple teams, and wraps it up with the feedback section where I teach how to give and receive feedback. The third section is all about the organization because it is about the bigger picture and teaching them that they're actually doing business development from the start, teaching them how to network and go to events, how to go to an event regardless if you're an introvert or extrovert and come out of it excited and passionate about what you're working on. I also give them team management and time management skills. I talk about visibility within a firm, how to advocate for yourself, and building that board of directors. And so that is the Build Your Foundation course, which wraps up the bundle. And the bundle is about making a professional that can grow, not only in their technical skills, but also their human skills to go forth and build amazing buildings, work as a team, and ultimately have fun along the way. I hope you guys like learning more about the Young Professional Bundle. Check out my individual videos for each one of these courses if you want to learn more in-depth information about each one of these, or you can jump over to my website where I actually give you a sneak peek clip of one of the lessons of each of these courses if you want to see even more information. So I hope you guys like learning more about the Young Professional Bundle within mentorDINO.